How do you maintain your inspiration in isolation? Tonight, we're talking about creative energy and how to keep it alive in quarantine and beyond. Live from the Burbs starts
now.
Greetings to the world and everyone within the sound of my voice. Live from the Burbs with the Mr. and the Mrs.
Yes, hello. Good evening, everyone.
Pleasure.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Can't believe it's Friday. We made it to another one. You made it to another one. So give it up for yourselves. Another Friday evening. We got a wonderful guest lineup. We got a great show in store.
Yes.
Man, we're talking about keeping creative juices flowing in quarantine and with all the madness that we've been dealing with this year. But first, how's your week been?
My week has been fantastic. I'm just happy that Friday is here. Virtual school is no joke.
Tomorrow's Halloween, isn't it?
Tomorrow is Halloween.
In some parts, I think our governor canceled Halloween or something.
Yes, he did. But at the end of the day, we don't celebrate Halloween, which a lot of people don't know that we don't celebrate. We end up using it as family time. And that's what we do for Halloween. We don't do the dressing up in
But
costumes.
I dress up sometimes.
I wasn't raised to dress up for Halloween. Like, it was against my religion. But you guys, kids did, didn't you?
So, yeah, I used to, I can remember some of my Halloween costumes. I had like this inflatable head. It was like a little alien thing. That was like my first Halloween I can remember in like recorded history. Getting dressed up and going out and trick-or-treating was like a high point of my childhood. And then of course you had the party in school. Then you come home and get dressed, and your parents will take you out and you bring in your sack of candy that they won't allow you to eat until like the next day or the next couple of days or whatever. Or they throw out. My parents were like health food nuts, and they would throw out like most of the candy. And they give us some healthy alternatives.
My mom was not tolerating that. There was like, it's not celebrating this pagan holiday, not today.
On a serious note, we hope everyone is safe. It's been a crazy week in terms of, it seems like every week is a crazy week in terms of upheaval and things that, it's not bad enough we're on quarantine. It's not bad enough that we've got this virus destroying lives and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. We've got lives being destroyed in many ways, and then people showing their frustration, showing their anger, but also kind of being a little bit destructive in their own right.
Our prayers definitely go out to Philadelphia and all the pain and everything that family is going through. Our prayers go out to everyone, just to be safe and to be smart. Think with your heads and not with your emotions about what's going on in the world today. Definitely.
Be safe, and don't let an unfortunate situation get even more unfortunate for the same people who have suffered the unfortunateness. You got to turn your energy toward the enemy, not toward yourself, not toward your communities.
Yes.
That's important. We don't want to get too heavy tonight, because tonight we're talking about keeping your creative energy good.
Yes.
We want everybody to keep their energy good and positive and focused in the right ways. And we wish everyone nothing but blessings and the best. And we need to fix things, but we need to fix things in a way that's going to make sure we're not hurting ourselves in the process of fixing things. So that said, we have some wonderful guests tonight. We have published authors, we have singers, we have people who are true creative heavyweights. They are wonderful, magnificent, talented people who I have the honor of knowing them and having them in my network, and I want to share them with you, and we want to share some conversation and some time. Yeah?
Yeah, let's do it.
Coming to the stage, or to the virtual couch, we have poet, author, artist, Keisha Gay Anderson. Keisha, welcome to the program.
Welcome.
Hey, it's so beautiful to be here with you.
Excellent.
Thank you for being here.
We also have another author of multiple books, as Keisha is. Keisha has 3 books, and I think our next guest has 3 as well. health and wellness coach, ovarian cancer advocate, and talented person, Serena.
Hey,
Wills.
how y'all
Serena
doing?
Wills.
Hey.
Welcome.
Not,
Welcome to
not-
Thank you. Thank
not
you.
Wills,
It's an honor to be here.
Get it right. we also have a song stylist, author, early childhood educator, Miss Coley Aziza. Coley, well, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
Welcome and happy Friday to you.
Yes.
All right. So the blessings of the virtual couch runneth over this evening. We have one more guest, one more. Minister, author, entrepreneur, Miss Stacy Y. Thomas. Stacy.
Good evening. Happy
Welcome to the
Friday.
Welcome.
Hey.
Hey.
Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Now, this wonderful, diverse panel of folks have something in common. And I don't know if everyone out there knows what they have in common. I don't know if they can guess by the motif, by some of the garbs that are on. These are all proud alumni of Syracuse University, as am I. Syracuse,
Yeah.
represent,
It's you. We
celebrate
bleed
your own.
orange.
Yes. Come on, logo.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Did we lose our host?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I'm like, they add the Cuse logo and all went down. That's how we shut down parties, too. We just shut down. Get shut down.
Hopefully everyone is Keisha's back.
Oh, the good old days.
Yes. Oh.
Remember that?
This,
Well,
this
okay.
is the miracle of live television.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the miracle of
We were here.
We never left.
We didn't go anywhere.
Oh, they're still freezing.
Yeah, just a tad bit.
Too much orange awesomeness.
I think so. I'm telling you, it was that logo. It's just everything went. Like the lights from the gold scene go off, and yep.
Yep,
Yeah.
I'm a ghost.
Can you guys still hear me?
Now we can hear you.
Oh,
Oh, no,
Oh, wait.
that's us.
Oh, wow.
Where did they go? Well, there's the logo.
There's a logo.
There goes the logo. That's what.
about me tonight.
There we go. There we go. It's like virtual schooling. We lose a teacher every day. Like, okay, they'll be back.
It's hilarious when that happens.
Oh, now, so
Like, they'll be back. It's all good.
Okay,
after this one, where we've left.
we have our own studio momentarily,
Yes, we did.
but we're glad to
Okay.
see that you're all
I think they're back.
still here. Did I disappear before? We're back. We're and we're good. I wanted to ask each of you about your creative lanes and how you got into them. We're gonna start with Stacy. Tell us about your creative work.
I can hear you. Oh, you called on me?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was. I'm like,
I keep disappearing, so I'm not sure.
so I am the owner of I Design Beauty LLC.
In class, like I hope they don't.
You didn't call on me?
They don't call on me.
You called on me. Okay.
They did call you.
It's a lapse. Okay, so I am the owner of I Design Beauty LLC. It is a total beauty brand, all things fashion and beauty. So my first venture is Indulge by I Design Beauty, which is a natural skincare and hair care brand. So I've been in business since 2001. 2011. 2011, because my 10-year anniversary is coming up in 2021. So I'm really excited about that. I'm also an author. I published my first book in 2016 entitled Where Do I Go From Here? Redefining Yourself After Heartbreak and Brokenness. So it's a 21-day guide on how to bounce back from divorce. It is based on my story and my journey, and the purpose is to basically help those who go through the unfortunate event, well, not event, but the unfortunate mishap or circumstance of divorce, and how to bounce back from it in a healthy manner for yourself, your children, your family, future relationships, and things like that.
Mm.
That's it.
Excellent. Excellent.
Very nice.
Keisha, let's turn it over to you.
Oh, let's see. I do so many things. I'm really tired. I am the author. I am the author of actually 4 poetry collections. The first one was self-published, but I'm all for that. There's nothing wrong with that. But the last 3 were published by, different publishing houses. And the latest one is forthcoming this fall, actually in a month. So I'm a poet. I'm a visual artist. I've had my art in some exhibitions. I am, what else? And I work in communications, and I've worked as a television producer, as a magazine journalist. I mean, I've done everything that involves telling a story on every medium. I think I've probably done it.
Nice, very nice.
Excellent. Nicole,
Yeah.
tell us about you. You are a singer, songwriter, book author,
Right.
a Renaissance woman here. Tell us a little bit about all that is Coley.
I started out as a musical theater major, actually at Syracuse, and then I wanted to be more something, I guess, my family. And then in my head, I was like, I need to be more practical. And so I was like, what else would I like to do? I mean, what else is it that I really care about? And I really do care about people. So then I changed my major to special education. I really have always rooted for the underdog. And I was like, I think that'll be a good fit for me. So I was teaching for a while in Maryland, and then I realized that something was missing for me. And so then that's when I was like, I have to get back into theater. I have to get back into singing. I never stopped taking voice lessons the whole time. I was always studying. And so I decided to get back into it, and actually left teaching for a while and was doing theater full time. And then I went back to teaching, and actually I have a children's book out, and the prompt for writing the children's book was my students. And it was something that they needed. They didn't understand the concept of a dream as an aspiration or goal. And I was like, how can I get them to understand this? And then that's how I came up, with the children's book. So that's how, so there's early childhood educator and the children's book. And so that's my lane, really writing children's books. And then also the singing and songwriting. And then I write poetry as well.
Excellent. And on the screen, co-hosting and doing fabulous lighting. I also do the production graphics, and I
Oh boy.
did not put up.
He was mid-sentence too.
No.
Keisha, what you do, and we'll transition from Keisha. I keep disappearing, and I can't see myself. Serena, you're on, and everyone can hear us. Go right ahead.
Yeah.
Grace under pressure. Serena.
Did you call me? Okay, it's my turn. Hey everyone, thanks for inviting me to this wonderful. I feel like we're on a panel.
It is not.
I was like, you calling me, sir? Okay, That was me in Summer Institute. Anyway, I'm not gonna go that far back. Yeah, sleep in the back of class. But my name's Serena Wills. I am a published author. I'm a self-published author. I've self-published 3 poetry books. My last book just came out December 2019, titled The Awakening: Pieces of Life, Volume 2. It picks up from where Reconstruction, Pieces of Life, Volume 1 left off. That book came out 4.5 years ago. And then I had a book in between titled Crying Tears of Teal. I am also a publishing coach. I help aspiring writers go from start to finish if they want to become self-published. And during the pandemic, I have birthed several workshops, self-publishing 101 and 201. I was doing 101 in the public library system here in Alexandria, Virginia, and developed 201. And then I developed other workshops with my health and wellness hat because I'm a national board certified health and wellness coach. I became board certified just almost 2 years ago. And I have several workshops about health and wellness, self-care, mindful eating, how to take care of you, especially now more than ever during this pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
I offer individual and group coaching sessions, as well as workplace wellness programs, because a lot of people are inundated with stress and high stress levels from the workplace. So I jump in and help organizations and corporations get back on track and make their employees their priority and number one, and to teach them, how to care for their employees and also for themselves. So yeah, I have two different hats, and sometimes they go together and sometimes they don't, but it's all good.
Excellent. So maybe a fitting segue based on my technical struggles here. So some say struggle and pain are important ingredients for an artist. And 2020 has been a special kind of struggle for everybody. And we, I think, as Black and brown people in America, we know even more special levels of struggle. What role has struggle played in your work, do you think? Coley, we'll start with you.
That's a good one for me, because honestly, I feel like I'm just coming out of, I can write now, even when I'm not angry or sad, because actually that was what always prompted me to write. So it became, for me, as far as the poetry is concerned, it was cathartic for me. So that's how I really started writing poetry and just sort of my thoughts, stream of consciousness. I was writing, and I wanted to present it to the world, but I was like afraid. And so one of my friends said, well, you're always singing. I have a band. I perform with different bands, and I have my own group. And they were like, why don't you just attach the poetry to a song, and then maybe you'll feel more comfortable. So that's how I really started writing poetry. It's just because I was angry or sad and just didn't know what else to do, and I just wrote. So that really works for me, even though you don't want to be sad and angry, but I mean that has really kind of fueled me and helped me get those feelings out.
Definitely a good way to relieve that. So definitely a good way to get those feelings out and relieve that pressure.
Yes,
it's a good source of therapy.
Definitely.
Okay, Stacy, why don't we go to you? I'm very clear about who I'm calling on. Stacy, same question.
Well, for me, this may sound crazy, but like I've been living in a struggle for I was up until January for the last decade. So there was nothing about my life that was peaceful at all. Literally up until December 20th, 2019. I can pinpoint the date. So one of the things that I wanted to do, I left some stuff out. So I'm also in grad school, and I started grad school. I'm in my 3rd year now. So, being an author, writing my 2nd book, having a whole business that is very demanding, and then having a 9 to 5, it didn't allow me the opportunity to really focus on one thing at a time. So I was spreading myself thin. So one of the things that I really, really wished was for me to, of course, what entrepreneur doesn't want to work for themselves, but until I get to that place, at least I need to work from home, because my commute was an hour both ways driving. So that's 2 hours out of an 8-hour work day that you spend on the road, traffic, you get home, you have kids, you know, it's just a lot. When this pandemic started, it's just a lot, you know, but when this pandemic came about and everyone ended up having to work from home, it was great for me. So even though there was a lot, and I'm not making light of what's happened outside because it has affected everyone, but for me personally, I had a lot of things going on the last 3 years up until, if I can be quite frank, I was homeless for 2 years. And in September of last year, I had to leave the place where I was living, and my children and I were separated. Then my mother got sick. Then I found out she had cancer. Then she died 19 days later. This month, last year, and I don't have a place to live, and I'm separated from my children. So I say all of that to say that when January came and everything started to settle out for me, that's when the world went crazy outside. But I felt like I had my own type of pandemic going on. So it worked well for me because I had peace. I was able to get up, create a regimen, and do my work and do my business and really, really concentrate on my business because I had the time. So, you know, I'm grateful, and I'm grateful for it. It's unfortunate that it had to come like this, but it hasn't been so much of a struggle as far as my creativity is just trying to, now I'm like, I can do everything. I can do everything, and then
You can. Clearly, you can.
Yeah. With Christ, I can. But that took on a whole
Christ,
nother.
you've come through hurdles. You've jumped.
Huh?
Jeez. You've jumped great. I said through Christ, you've jumped great hurdles and overcome a great deal.
Indeed.
You are truly blessed to come from where you come to where you are today. I'm sorry for all that you've gone through, but I'm grateful that God was with you and that you are God-fearing. So that is
yes,
wonderful.
that he was.
Amazing. Serena, what role has struggle played for you? I'm blown away by the resilience, the talent, just the radiance. I get to share the virtual couch with this wonderful lady every week, and I feel warm and blessed because of that. Tonight, I feel like I'm the luckiest man on Facebook Live to be surrounded by this level of strength and talent and beauty and Black woman magic.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
There you go.
Serena.
All right.
Serena, talk to us about.
All right, now the struggle is real. So, the struggle for me, I mean, poetry, that's where my first poems came out of. They were birthed out of Heartbreak Hotel, I call it. It's, I had a couple of heartbreaks. One really hit hard, and that's where Reconstruction, Pieces of Life, Volume 1 came from. And I just started compiling all the feelings I was going through. But at that same time, I was coming to a place of healing. And so I wanted to document my journey of struggle with somewhat losing myself in a man, to be quite frank. And then coming out of that and realizing I need to take care of me first and love me more first, and then put that love into a man. So it dates back to years ago, but my struggles were like off and on. When I would come out of a struggle and find like that foundation of peace, I would get hit with something else. So my book, Crying Tears of Teal, documents ovarian cancer awareness. And as you were saying in my bio, I'm an ovarian cancer advocate, because my mom had ovarian cancer, didn't know she had ovarian cancer until she was stage 4, and I lost her 6 months after diagnosis. And I wrote a ton of poems at her bedside and would share my poems back with her during our journey. And that was back, it's been over 10 years now. I lost my mom. And I promised to her I would be a GYN cancer advocate. And I kept that promise to her. And you kind of feel like, okay, you grieve for a long time. Grief, I don't think ever goes away. But you get to a place of where you are okay or somewhat okay with losing that loved one, and then you get hit with another storm. So that was my struggles. 2012, I was bitten by a tick, and my son was only a toddler, and I contracted Lyme disease. Mm-hmm. And then I went from being this healthy marathon runner to being bedridden with over 30-something symptoms. And it just kept going and going. But from that was birthed the health and wellness coaching, because I was not in health and wellness at all. And I decided I'm going to take my struggles and turn them into good. And maybe I can be an inspiration for someone out there. So I went that path and became a health and wellness coach, kept birthing more books. I was published in several anthologies. I do a lot of health and wellness writing. And, even my coaching clients come from a place of struggle. And they say, we like working with you because you have been in our shoes. Like, you literally have been in our shoes. You have walked the walk that we are in, and we could see where we could be. But even now, like, Stacey was saying, this year, I was all gung-ho about 2020. It was like new decade, I'm turning 45. It's going to be fantastic. And then 2 months after my birthday party, we're in a pandemic. And I was like, what is happening here? But I was sent home on April 1st on a 12-week leave under the CARES Act. And from that time I was sent home, it's like the creative juices just overflowed. And I was like, I'm going to really utilize this time to build up my businesses, because yes, I want to be that entrepreneur where I could pay all my bills and have a surplus and have savings and go on vacations and just work for me. So let me take this time where I could just be at home with my son, which is a whole other thing. Virtual schooling is a whole other subject in itself. Mm-hmm. But just take that time, because for me, creativity helps me with the struggle. I know there's so much going on out there. I mean, right now in this present moment, my family's going through somewhat of a family emergency in this moment, but I just try to keep pushing forward the best way I know how, and just gently push myself forward through the struggle. So it's been a lot over the past decade, not more, but just keep pushing along the best way you know how. I'm a prayerful woman as well, and I give it all to God. I don't try to figure this out by myself at all. It's just, you just can't. So that's where I'm at.
In his hands.
I think a lot of us make that mistake of trying to do. I know I personally, I tend to bottle up and try to take the world on my shoulders instead of realizing I got other shoulders all around me to share that weight. It's a process, but it's important, because we're not alone. We're
never alone.
Yeah.
Talk to us about the struggle.
Well, first of all, I feel grateful to, be gathered with everyone and to hear, your experiences. And it's reassuring, and it's so helpful to know, like, we always feel that we're the only ones going through things. So it's good to have these conversations, I say art and poetry and whatever it is, it's a craft, right? Like woodworking, like whatever. And a craft is also a vessel. It takes you somewhere. The craft is supposed to take you somewhere. And so I use all my struggles as fuel, because of the particular way that I am made is I'm extremely determined, decisive, and I'm a bit stubborn. Like, I know where I'm going and I know what I want. And so I never stop, moving ahead. And actually, early in my life, and people who know me know this, but maybe everybody doesn't know this, but, several family members of mine have had different kinds of cancer. So very early in my life, I had to come to grips with mortality. I had to face that and say, well, so it made me more present. It made me more present, and it made me unwilling to, like, I definitely feel my feelings because I'm an artist, but I try not to, like, wallow. Like, I feel them, And then I'm like, okay, let me reach out. That's what I had to learn to reach out more like you. I was like not trying to ask for help. So I've learned to do that more, to ask for help and not hide my feelings. But I'm very serious about getting up and continuing. You can continue gently, like look at water. Water made the Grand Canyon. I always tell people you can continue gently. You don't have to be a blowtorch. There's times for different kinds of energy, but you have to do something regularly to make it take you where you need to go. So that's how I use it. Fuel. It's like whatever it is, whatever you throw at me, I'm going to use it for my benefit. It's not something that can harm me. That's how I live my life.
Wow.
Yeah, whatever doesn't break you makes you stronger. Man.
Absolutely. And whatever
Yes.
doesn't hurt you definitely makes you stronger. But as everybody is pandemic and we've used this time, there's so many creative people out there, myself included. I'm also an entrepreneur who's taken this time to grow my company more as well and spend more time with my family, which is a fine juggling line. But as you guys are published authors, I'm concerned there are other published people who want to be published. What would you tell people right now at home who have taken that time to write that manuscript, who've taken that creativity and their pain and put it down? How would you tell them to start to address that and publish themselves? What advice would you guys give them?
Well, maybe we can start with Coley because I don't think we heard from you.
I think they.
Coley. Oh, okay.
Who is it, Coley or
Arthur's
Stacey?
good at calling who goes where. I'm so not good.
I was enraptured in the question. Holy, what advice would you give to someone who has that creative energy going and maybe has started down the path to putting down some thoughts or whatever? What could be their next step to get themselves moving?
Well, I'll tell you what I did. So for my children's book, I wrote it, and once it was written, of course I edited, I went over it, I reviewed it to make sure that it was what I needed it to be. I had someone edit it as well. And then I sent it out to some publishers, and it was not accepted, So I said, you know what? I just felt like this was something that was special. And I felt it was something that needed to be out there. And so I self-published. And so what I would recommend is that everyone research how they could self-publish, because there's different ways that you can do that. And so I did that, and I called people that I knew that already had books out who had self-published. So I did my research. And then because it's a children's book, I needed an illustrator. And so I researched that. And I finally got down to someone who was recommended by 3 people who did not know each other. And so I said, oh, okay, 3 people have recommended this brother. So let me reach out to him. And at first we had a little, we didn't see eye to eye about exactly how I wanted things to work out. So I went and I did some more research. And then I came back to him really grounded with knowing what I wanted. And then, we agreed to work together, and it came out, it was marvelous. And I'm so very happy that I pushed through with it. But this was something that I felt was blessed. This was something that I felt that came through me, that God, pushed through me, and it's something that had to be done. So I hear all my sisters saying that they, to never give up and keep putting. And so I just did it. And so that, just definitely do your research. You have to do your research, but sometimes things feel like there's a wall there, and that you can't get past it. And I don't let that wall stop you, because there's another way. That means that there's another way.
Exactly.
So Sister Serena Wells has a self-publishing workshop that everyone take for those that want to self-publish.
Exactly.
There we go. Bam.
Hey, Coley, before we move on to Stacey, can you quickly shout out the name of your book? We're gonna plug.
Oh yes, and I have it here.
One of our viewers wanted to know the name of your book.
Yeah, can you see that? It's Corey's Dreams. And it's there's my name, Aziza.
Yes.
And illustrated by Courtney Young, who's a wonderful illustrator. And so actually it's so interesting because
Nice.
I feel very just blessed to have gotten it out, but I dedicated it to a close friend who was like a family member named Corey, who unfortunately was killed in the Bronx. And so that's one of the reasons why I called it Corey's Dreams. So, and it starts off with the first page says, "This is a story about a boy named Corey who has bright eyes and a smile like the sun." And Corey, this young man, Corey, always, when I would see him, I was about maybe 5 years older than him, but you know, when you're young, 5 years is a lot. And when I would see him, that's how he would strike me. He just had bright eyes and a smile like the sun. And for him to be taken away when he was in his early 20s and not to have fulfilled his dreams was just, it really saddened me. So as I wrote this for my students, I also wrote it with him in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
That's wonderful.
That's a wonderful tribute. That was a wonderful tribute.
Oh, thank
It
you.
definitely was.
Stacey, what advice would you have? Stacey, what advice would you have? Same question.
Make sure that you write the book. Like follow through. follow through. Oftentimes, especially now, like there's so many markets that are saturated with so much. Everybody's writing a book, everybody's doing this, everybody's doing that. And sometimes it can be a deterrent where you feel like, well, if there's all of these books, there's all of these great authors, there's all of these great Black authors, where is my voice? And the thing is, if you have a desire and a passion to write something, then it's for somebody to read for whatever purpose. Make sure that you do it, because that person is waiting on what that creative, literature that you're going to be putting out. They need it. It took me, my book, I was journaling for 10 years. It took me about 4 years to write it and publish it, because it was based on my life. So that's different from, a person, a tribute, some, fictitious character. Like, this was my life that I was putting out. And it wasn't just my life, but it was something that my children would see. It was something that dealt with a whole family that I was married into. So I had to be careful with that. Still in all, I knew that somebody needed my voice. Somebody needed my testimony. Somebody needed my story. And it was completely frightening to put myself out there. But I look at it now and I don't regret it. I did everything the right way. So my advice would be, especially if it's something that's going to help people, and especially if it ties into your personal life, don't be afraid. You don't know where your story is going to go, what hearts is going to heal, what information people are going to have to like get their own business, the inspiration they're going to have to do whatever. Like, you can, inspire the next neurosurgeon to create whatever based on, you don't know. So don't be afraid. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Get it done. Be afraid. Yeah, that's my.
Be fearless.
Be fearless.
Be
Do it.
fearless.
Keisha, what
Yeah, no, definitely
Keisha,
agree with
what do you
everything.
have to add? This is such wonderful advice.
Yeah, I agree with what everyone has said. And the thing about, see, for me, exactly what Stacey said, storytelling is older than the commerce, than the structure that we live in. It has a higher purpose. You can save someone's life. You might save someone's life. So if you have to do what you are charged to do. Now, we have to adapt and learn, and we do live in a capitalist society, and we've got to figure out the avenues. So first of all, my first piece of advice is write something really good and finish it. Like Stacey said, finish it and make sure it's polished. Make sure it's like if you were going out and getting dressed up, you would fully get dressed up before you go outside. Just do the thing well, right? Then you have to think about, what is your objective? What do you want it to do? Now, traditional publishing, was important to me for subsequent books because these are all doors, you see, and locks and gates you have to go through. So if I want to win a literary award, I need that book to have an ISBN number with a publisher, and because they're the gatekeepers, I need it to go through those channels based on what I want. If you don't care about that, and you don't have to, it's just like that. To me, that's important. I was in academia, I was teaching, I was doing all this stuff, and that helps me present myself more fully and be more desirable candidate to do certain things. That was important to me. Plus, I respect the tradition and I respect my peers and the tradition that I'm in. So, but then again, it's like, you don't have to do it that way. It's like, it's just about the work. Where do you want to go with it? So one thing I always tell students is the authors, first of all, you have to read. And then the people whose books you read, you look in the acknowledgement section and you see who they thanked. And you will find who hangs out with who. You will find networks. You will find what publishing houses maybe like your work. You will find names of agents. But this is work, this is legwork that you have to do it. You got to do this legwork. And so when you're looking at writers you admire, you're tapping into an energy like, we have our Syracuse family. There's a vibe there. It's different from Morehouse. We have our own vibe. So read the people that you admire, and then look at like who they hang out with. Look at what organizations they belong to, who they publish with. But most importantly is write the book.
Okay.
Right on this one. And then we have a special little tribute. But Serena, what's your advice to round out this one?
Yeah, that was all. This is great advice. Again, I have two self-publishing workshops. So, and with both of them, I tell people, some people just come in and they're overthinking, and I tell them, don't overthink this process. I said, first of all, find out what you are most comfortable with, whether it's handwriting out your book, because I know authors who have physically written their book with pen and paper and wrote the whole book in a notebook or something. I was like, don't overthink, am I going to buy this fancy laptop to write my book? Or just start the process and just start writing. My biggest thing, I always tell people about accountability. And people don't like that A word, but I'm like, you have to hold yourself accountable through all of this. Or if you can't, you need to find an accountability partner or group. Because the one thing about authors and writers, there's a lot of writers groups out there. They'll swap each other's work and they'll hold each other accountable. Like, okay, next month I want to read your next 10 pages or read your next few pages or what have you, just so you can get to the finish line of getting that book out. And I tell people this is not a race. Writing a book is a marathon. I've ran in about 6 marathons. I know. Take your time. I'm not the Kenyan or the Jamaican at the very front. I'm in the back. Okay, so I'm not trying to win money here. I'm just trying to finish this marathon. So it's just about taking your time, because I know with my current book I'm working on, I've been working on this book for years because it's about my battle with Lyme disease. And it is highly emotional. Sometimes I have to put the book down. And I just finished the first draft 2 months ago. I haven't looked at it since because I needed that reprieve. Like, I just needed to kind of get myself back to like, okay, I'll start working on it again without all the tears, without putting tears on my laptop. But I have a date as to when I'm going to get back to it. It's not going to be shelved till 2021, So, you got to give yourself those breaks, and then life happens, and allow for life to happen. Sometimes you won't be able to write every single day or create every single day, but whatever you do, get back to it. But definitely just do not overthink this. And before you know it, whether you're a singer and you're writing songs or creating a record or whatever it is, visual artist, that piece will be done, and it'll be done right. And my other thing is, once you're done with all of that and you're done with a couple of drafts, you want to make sure you're legally protected. So I've heard some nightmarish stories about folks handing off stuff, and their work is now someone else's work because they did not protect their work. And we're talking from books to art to everything. I mean, that comes later on, but like, you know, Coley was saying, do the research and start looking, you know, and like Keisha was saying, look through the book, look through the acknowledgments. But you want to definitely make sure that no matter what you do and no matter where your art and creativity goes, that you are doing this the correct way and you're being legally protected while doing it.
Mhm.
That's good. Yep.
That is
Very smart and very good advice.
that is amazing, extraordinary advice. Full disclosure, I have aspirations to write a book myself, but I have like ADD and I get a little touch of lazy disease, and I just tend to go off on tangents.
He'll sit for 10 minutes.
I
and
got
then
like
do it.
I have a strong page. It is a strong page.
It's more like a strong paragraph.
Now,
Okay.
we're gonna take a pause for the cause. We on that note, we're gonna come back in a second. We'll take a pause for the cause. Coley had a chance to show her book there. We have a little something just to show the works of all of our guests.
All of you guys.
So
Yeah.
pause for the cause.
Oh, okay.
Let the dancing begin. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back in 1910. Back in 1910. Back in 1910. Back in 1910.
I love it.
That was
Wow.
dope.
All right.
Thank you.
It's playing again.
That was official.
I know.
That was nicely put together. Thank you.
All right. I'm glad you enjoyed that. So one final question to wrap up. So we're talking about our favorite authors, If you're stuck on a desert island and you can only have one book with you, I want to know which one it is, and we also want to know where we can check for you next. What's your next tour, engagement,
Yes.
books coming up? And we're going to start with Keisha. Go.
Oh man. Oh well.
Are we back in study hall again? Are we back in
Yeah. So I'm gonna say.
New House 1?
So
8 a.m.?
New House 1. Oh my God. Those 8 a.m. classes. Oh my God.
Oh,
Brutal.
I'm gonna say, so yes, I'm a poet, but first is poetry, but my favorite other genre to consume is speculative fiction, which is like science fiction and fantasy. So anything by Octavia Butler, like I could read her books over and over again. I love her. Oh, and what am I doing next? Goodness. So I have a book launch, and I didn't know there was going to be a global pandemic. So well, I guess we're going to live stream it because it's November 21st. So I'll put up the flyer. I'll send the flyer.
Either.
I know, but it's okay. It's all gonna work in my favor. So I'm gonna it'll be November 21st at an art gallery in Brooklyn called 5 Miles Gallery. My art will be exhibited, and I will read from the new book, and I will feature some other artists/writers.
wow.
Nice.
Mhm.
That's nice. Go, Keisha.
Nice.
Stacy. Stacy, you're up.
I was like, can you say my name? So I'm looking. I'm like,
Ms. Thomas, are you with us this morning?
I'm here. I haven't eaten dinner, so know that me and an empty stomach. I'm like,
Well, we're gonna get you
Not
up to
here.
this.
So I am 5 chapters
We understand.
away from
We'll get you up to
completing
dinner.
my second book. which was supposed to be my third book because I was working on another one, but I had to put that one and this one, this pandemic is something. So I'm 5 chapters away. I'm not releasing the title yet, but I hope to have it up and launching and published before January 2021. So that's what I am doing. I am expanding my IDB business. I'm going to be going into an online Black supply store called 4th Avenue Market. It's the largest online beauty supply store, like African American beauty supply store. So I'm going to be launching there. I'm going to be launching some new products for the holidays, trying to just get things together because people are not going to be really going out Black Friday and things like that. And I have an e-commerce online store. So I'll be shipping out body butters and all types of goodies to help us keep calm during, the last quarter of 2020. Yes.
Yes.
A lot of
2020 away.
We got 4 days. We got a lot of sign to do.
Ooh. Yeah.
I have a podcast.
Yes.
But you didn't answer my first question, Ms. Oh, podcast too.
What was the first question? Because
gonna get back to podcast.
Tell you about the
If you're stranded on a desert island, you can only bring one book. What would
if I was on the desert island and there was only one book I could bring, I would have to say the Bible. Because I used to be scared of the Bible. Especially, I used to be scared of the Old Testament because I felt like it was just a lot going on. But the Old Testament is like a whole soap opera. It's like anything that's going on. It's some really good stories in the Old Testament, like people tripping, doing all type of stuff.
Soap opera.
A lot of getting.
No, look, listen. I mean, like, they did what?
Right there.
And so because it's so exhaustive, I would because it's really like that Old Testament is something else. I love it. So yeah, it would be the Bible, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a minister. I'm very serious. Like it got some, soap opera.
Excellent. You were mentioning something about a podcast?
Yeah. So Cultivated Conversations is on hiatus now. I'm gonna start in December. I started on Facebook Live at the end of March. So I'm gonna be moving over to YouTube, and the second season will start in December. And that's it.
Nice, very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Coley, over to you.
All right. So if I
Stranded on a desert island, what are you taking with you? And then where can we look for you next?
Okay, so I would take definitely anything by Toni Morrison. I love her as an author. Nikki Giovanni is a great influence on me as far as poetry is concerned. And then I have to mention the music because I am a vocalist, and Stevie Wonder has been a great influence on me as a singer songwriter, but then also as a conscious singer songwriter, because that's very, very important. What's coming up on Thursday?
Now you are on a desert island, so you can't plug in anything to play Stevie. But maybe we'll let
I was just saying the songs will be on my mind. Or I have this, and I
Old Testament.
So, but maybe I'd have a battery, some battery operated.
High five.
But
Thursday,
Thursday,
powered battery.
yes,
Radio.
yeah. But Thursday, November 5th, I work with a artist collective called Liberated Muse. We do song, poetry, plays, and we do something called C3, which is Creative Creatives Creating. And we have featured artists and we also have an open mic. And so in the future, if anyone would like to come on there and be a part of the open mic, it's you just have to email us at info@liberatedmuse.com. So for the first time, I'm actually hosting that. And so I'm very excited about that because I've performed, but I haven't hosted. So that'll be Thursday, November 5th at 7 p.m. on Liberated Muse's page. I'm looking to actually get back in the studio. I was a little leery of getting into the studio and recording again because of COVID. But I actually went into the studio with a friend of mine who has a book that is out, and she has music. She recorded a version of her book, a sound recording of her book, and she has music in it. So I did the music, the singing in it. And so that kind of got me over my fear. So now I'm looking to get back into the studio and record some more. So I'll be working on that. And actually I'm starting some sound healing training because I want to incorporate that into my performing, and I want to incorporate that actually into my teaching as well with young people. So that's what's going on with me right now.
Nice.
Excellent.
All right, I'm gonna bring y'all home. All right, it's home base. So, okay, Deserted Island. It would be. I have 3 favorite poets. This is very hard to choose. So, Nikki Giovanni, hands down. Love her. Sonia Sanchez, and Maya Angelou. Love all 3 of those women right there. My favorite creative author, though, creative writer, is Zora Neale Hurston. I could bring her whole collection of books and read them over. I've read them over and over and over throughout the years. So that would be me on a deserted island. Probably my son's not going to let me be there by myself. So it'll be us 2. And and then what I have coming up next, actually, I have 2 workshops. He's not going to let me go anywhere. It's just the 2 of us. So you have 2 workshops coming up in November. November 14th, I have a Mindful Eating 101. How am I really eating? So bring yourself. We don't talk about the fad diets or anything like that. How are you really eating? Do you look at the colors on your plate? Are you enjoying your food? Are you the one that's working at your desk while you're eating your food? So really being mindful, when it comes to eating and building a relationship with your food. And then on Thursday, November 19th, for those who are interested in being self-published, I already have 101 last Saturday, but I have self-publishing 201 on Thursday, November 19th. And you can come and learn about different ways to self-publish. I mean, it's just, you could learn so much about self-publishing. I had to break it up into 2 workshops. And then in December, I have 3 other workshops coming up as well. And like I said before, I'm working on a book. I'm not going to say the title either. And it's about my, journey with Lyme disease. And then I'm also working on another poetry book that is the follow-up from The Awakening, and that's Pieces of Life, Volume 3. There is another piece of that title, but I'll release it when the book is ready to come out. So, yeah, I got quite a few things going on. Follow-up from The Awakening, and that's Pieces of Life, Volume 3. There is another piece of that title, but I'll release it. There. Uh-oh.
We all here?
Very nice.
Excellent. I just wanted to finish out with a bless you and
Oh, can't hear him.
We heard close out.
I just read the comment because it seems like when I try to put it up, it brings everything down.
Okay.
I
All right.
just want to thank these wonderful guests. We're connecting with you. Thank you for all the advice. Thank you for all the warmth. Thank you for all the energy.
You're welcome.
Bye. Thank you guys so much for coming on.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Good seeing y'all.
Yes.
Little mini reunion. Love y'all.
Let the dancing begin. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back in that step. Back in that step. Back in that step. Back in that step.
Love it.